Hi everyone, this is Revolution Ricky here in my house and in my office at Casa de Revolution, here to do another video. It is Christmas Day 2025 and I would like to extend my best wishes to each and every one of you. A very Merry Christmas and have a happy and safe New Year. Uh, my wife got me some stuff that I'm going to show off, and some of my family members got me some stuff that I'm going to show off. And without further ado, I'm going to show you what I got. If you would drop a like and subscribe to my videos and help promote the videos, please do so. I would really appreciate it. I would like this channel to grow. I'm just doing these as a labor of love. But my wife got me a few things, including this cool lighting that I can now use to do the videos, and got me a somewhat of a which I need a tripod for, so I can do them anywhere I need to. So as soon as that comes in, or I order one, I will upgrade this and I don't have to use to position my phone anymore, because I film these on my phone. So without further ado, I'm going to show you what I got for Christmas. She actually got me this little contraption that goes with the YouTube video. It's like it's a Bluetooth, so I can stop and start these whenever. So whenever I can, I will basically use that to stop and start. That way I don't have to push the button and the phone falls when I'm repositioning anything. But anyway, without further ado, I'll show you what I got. This one was kind of a joke from my wife. She had bought me, we had collected Funko Pops over the years. Our first two was when we went to a convention years ago. We had went to, I think it was called Wizard World. I mean, they've changed the name so many times that Wizard World New Orleans doesn't even exist anymore. Of course, Wizard Magazine doesn't even exist anymore. But it was the go-to magazine for comic book collectors to look up comic book prices and see how they're doing. I had actually bought several of those issues back in the day because I had loved that, and I also loved the Comic Buyer's Guide. Even though I am now quietly retired from collecting comic books and going to conventions, I really just don't do that anymore. But I still collect stuff here and there. So my wife got me this one Funko Pop, and I opened it up, and I laughed so hard on it. A Demon Gene Funko Pop. It was my favorite. He's my favorite character of Kiss. I mean, we had just lost Ace, and I always loved Kiss. And I guess these are the outfits from the Alive album, which actually celebrated its 50th anniversary. I have the vinyl. If you know, I did in a previous video of Alive, which a friend sold to me about 30 years ago. So I had got the Funko. She got me a Funko Pop of Demon Gene, and we collect Funko Pops. I've gotten her a few. She's gotten me a few, and we buy the ones we like. I mean, we don't buy Funko Pops all year just to have them. I mean, sometimes she bought me, for one Christmas, she bought me a Lemmy Funko Pop, and then I got her either for Valentine's Day or birthday or Christmas. I can't really remember. I got her the Golden Girls ones. I mean, the first two Funko Pops we ever got, it was Superman and Harry Potter. So she got me a Demon Gene Funko Pop, which I always love. Uh, Now, let's see. This one I'm going to show off is from one of my favorite directors. Um, one of my director and filmmaker. He's famous for. There's only a few handful of movies I like him in that he made, and he's made a lot of movies. Um, he. This is his autobiography. Um, about 25 years ago, there was a movie somewhat based on his life and his life experiences of being a reporter for Rolling Stone magazine and Cream magazine, but it was, I only like three or four of his movies. The rest of them I didn't like. The Uncool by Cameron Crowe. I always liked Cameron Crowe because I was envious because he went on tour. He was a reporter for Rolling Stone at the age of very young age. I think he's like only like 15, and he was going on tour with all these bands. I mean, the movie Almost Famous is somewhat based on his life experiences of being a reporter and going and traveling with these bands. In the movie, the band was Stillwater, and in the real life, the bands were a handful of bands like Led Zeppelin, the Allman Brothers. I could be wrong, but the Uncool. I mean, I can really relate because I'm an uncool person. I just, he was just a really good reporter for Rolling Stone magazine. Went on tour with Led Zepp. Um, he was married for a time to, envious of that, to Nancy Wilson of Heart. And, Nancy Wilson is so pretty. And her sister, they're going on tour next year. I would like to go see them because they're going to be hitting Biloxi, Mississippi. And I love Heart. I don't know what went. They're now divorced. But the Uncool. And my ex-girlfriend, Tammy, props to her and her husband. Probably would say I'm uncool, but the group of friends I hung out with back in high school, those two, we had our little clique, and we were not cool at all. A bunch of misfits. In fact, that's where we got our name from, the Misfits of Theodore, because we didn't belong with the. This is getting a little sidetracked. We didn't belong with the jocks or the preppies or the cheerleader types or the daddy's girls or mama's boys or anything like that. We didn't belong with the alternative listening people who like the Cure or gothic stuff. We just didn't belong, and I was okay with that. So the Uncool. I wanted this book for a while, and I'm gonna read it because I really like Cameron Crowe. My wife also got me this movie. It's the final movie. We had just lost this guy about 10 days ago, tragically, to horrific circumstances, him and his wife. And I loved the movie from about 41 years ago. Everybody knows who I'm probably talking about. It's a shame that this movie is now his final film, because I was hoping there would be more. And I got the soundtrack to this movie, the first movie, and I got the second one, and I haven't seen the second one yet, so I'm going to pop it in my Blu-ray player and play it. Spinal Tap 2, The End Continues. I was a real big fan of the first one. the first one, I laughed so hard because it was mostly an ad lib movie. But I love Christopher Guest. I love Michael McKean, of course. Michael McKean being married to Annette O'Toole, um, and doing, he was Lenny and Squiggy and Laverne and Shirley. Um, he played Perry White in Smallville, with his wife. His wife was playing Martha Kent. Uh, Also, he did Hider in the House with Mimi Rogers and Gary Busey. Um, did Light of Day with Michael J. Fox and Joan Jett, which I love that movie. I wish they would release that on DVD instead of keeping it on video. I thought Light of Day was a great film. It was not Back to the Future, and it was full of musicians, and you got to see Michael McKean play just a regular guy, a bass player in a band. And, he was, it was a very good movie. I wish they would release it on DVD. And I'm looking forward to watching Spinal Tap 2. Spinal Tap to the end continues. It's just a shame that we lost Rob Reiner to tragic circumstances, with what happened, him and his wife. Of course, Rob Reiner's films with The American President, which is one of my favorite films. Stand By Me is a great film. It's like a coming of age story, a short story that Stephen King had wrote. And at the time it had an all-star cast with Corey Feldman, River Phoenix, Will Wheaton, Jerry O'Connell, Kiefer Sutherland, and a few other people I can't remember offhand. But, Kiefer Sutherland always played the bad boys in the 80s. And he, played in two of my favorite movies in the 80s, The Lost Boys. Stand By Me, of course. And one that he played detective in, or an agent in Flashback, which my mother loved, with Dennis Hopper. So I'm looking forward to watching this. And, Rob Reiner, of course, being from Meathead Michael and All in the Family. Years ago, about 30 years ago, when I was still living with my aunt, reruns of All in the Family would play, and I would watch it, and my cousin Ashley would watch it with me. It was that and Happy Days. We would all watch that TV series, and Ashley really liked it, and for a time, and I remember my aunt telling her that Carol O'Connor died, and she didn't know who it was, and she had to say, well, Archie Bunker. And she's like, oh, well, it was sad because I liked Carol O'Connor. He did, In the Heat of the Night, that TV series about a cop in Mississippi. And, it was off a movie, and it was a very good TV series. I really liked All in the Family, and I liked In the Heat of the Night. I thought that was a good TV series, and I would watch some every once in a while. But Spinal Tap 2, I'm really looking forward to. My wife got me this, and I've been wanting this one for a while because I'm a big fan of him. And anything with I'm gonna move some stuff here. Anything with this guy, I'm going to love. If it ain't the Beatles, and if it ain't Kiss, you know who it's going to be. Rainbow. Live in Munich, 1977, with Rodney James Dio singing. Love Dio. Love the guy. You can probably give me the worst Dio album in the world. I probably would love it. I've got all the Dio solo albums, and I'm trying to work my way up to getting the Dio stuff with Elf, because I got that, and I'm got a Black Sabbath, his tenure with Heaven and Hell. I've got all the Black Sabbath stuff that he was in, like Dehumanizer, Mob Rules, Heaven and Hell, and I'm trying to create, get those albums too, because I'm a completist. But I love Dio and him with Richie Blackmore, because Richie Blackmore had left Deep Purple. So I'm really looking forward to watching this. And of course, it's got, let's see, Richie Blackmore, Ronnie James Dio, Cozy Powell, Bob Daisley, Dave Stone, who all played in the band. It's a CD and DVD set, and I always wanted this DVD to watch live, and now they got this, so I'm going to pop this in a little while and watch it, along with Spinal Tap 2, and of course, to keep with Dio, he went on from Rainbow to Black Sabbath, but over the years, Black Sabbath was kind of like in a hiatus from Ozzy, and I guess they wanted to do something, and my wife got me this, and it is to keep with that theme of Dio, Ronnie James Dio, Heaven and Hell, live in Europe, at the Wacken Festival in Wacken, Germany. Neon Nights. There's a DVD out of this. It's just too expensive, and I didn't get it. But I love Dio. I love Ronnie James Dio, and it has some of the favorite hits on here. It's got Neon Nights, Children of the Sea. I is a good track from the Dehumanizer, Time Machine, Die Young, Heaven and Hell, and Neon Nights. I always quote sometimes Dio, from Heaven and Hell, the Black Sabbath album, Heaven and Hell. The world is full of kings and queens who blind your eyes and steal your dreams. And that was always a famous quote. I don't want to get flagged on YouTube, so I'm not going to play it, but I got this, Heaven and Hell, live in Wacken. Live albums are hit and miss with me, but with Dio, I always made an exception. And I don't have any live albums until now. So, Heaven and Hell. She also got me this, and it's with Kiss, to continue with the theme of Kiss. This was the final studio album of the non-makeup years, I would say. Well, it is. Because they recorded the album, and then they reunited with Ace and Peter. Kiss did, and it's from the Revenge era lineup with Paul Stanley, Gene Simmons, Bruce Kulick, and Eric Singer. I already have Revenge, and I got a few more CDs over here that I'll show. But Carnival of Souls, the final session. I had this on cassette, but all my cassettes are missing. I mean, I Have some of them somewhere. I got some of them somewhere else. You know, they're probably all in these boxes somewhere. I don't know where. But I had bought, my wife got me this, and I've been wanting this because I'm starting to replenish my Kiss CD collection. I always say I never really fully stopped collecting Kiss. I just took a 20-year vacation from it. And Carnival of Souls, I really did think it was a good album. I really like it. Was a dark album. It was darker than Revenge. Of course, Revenge is a dark album. I mean, instead of having a couple songs about partying and getting screwing and partying with Revenge, which did have a couple songs about that. This has the theme of it. It didn't have that many screwing and partying songs. It was a very dark album. It's a grungy album. I don't see it. I think it's a good album. It's not a great album, but I always did like this one. And I mean, it was better than Music from the Elder. Anything's better than that. I got a few more here from my cousin and my sister. This one, my cousin Ashley wanted to know what to get me, and I said, I always did like this band. 40 Trips Around the Sun, the best of Toto. Always did like Toto. I've been wanting to see him a couple times because I really like the songs Hold the Line and I Won't Hold You Back and Rosanna and Africa. There's a couple newly recorded tracks on here. I don't know what they are, but let's see. Struck by Lightning, Alone, Spanish Sea. Happens to be the new tracks, but always did like Toto. For some odd reason, I always liked him. You know, I Won't Hold You Back is probably one of my favorite tracks. Hold the Line is a good track. Rosanna is a good track too. I really like those songs, and I've always had a soft spot for Toto. So Toto, thanks to my cousin Ashley for getting me this one. It was cool. And the final two, my sister wanted to get me this album because it just celebrated its 50th anniversary. But she was going to get me the other, so it's like, I can't get it for you. I'm sorry. I was like, I told you didn't have to. I just showed you what I wanted. I didn't say you had to get it. But I had always, it's not the album that brought me to being a Kiss fan, but it's a very important one because the first three albums of Kiss didn't do anything. The debut didn't do anything. Hotter Than Hell didn't do much of anything. Of course, I love Hotter Than Hell. Just to Kill. Excuse me. Even though it had the songs Rock and Roll All Night and Come On and Love Me, Just to Kill didn't do anything. I mean, they were really down at the last dollar of the record company. And Bill Coyne was funding the tours with his credit card. If I funded that, I would have been homeless. But they kept full speed ahead and released this album. And it just celebrated the 50th anniversary. Alive. I love this album. It's got the hits. It's got the famous live hit of Rock and Roll All Night. It's got Let Me Go Rock and Roll, Watching You, 100,000 Years, Hotter Than Hell, which is a good favorite. Come On and Love Me, Parasite, She, Deuce, Strutter, Got to Choose. Black Diamond's a good track. I like Black Diamond. And it's a very you know, I think they overdubbed the audience. I'm not real 100%, but they did happen to, oh well, I don't care. I love the album. I mean, like I said, I'm been replenishing my Kiss CDs to get them going again because I had lost so many. And last but not least, this will be the final CD that I got. It's from my sister. The live was from my sister. Um, I also had this on cassette. And it was autographed by Eric Singer. As soon as I find that, I'm probably going to put it in a frame and show it off. Because years ago, about 27 years ago, I had moved to New York, and all my Kiss stuff, I had my Kiss cassettes and CDs in my duffel bag, and my duffel bag with all that stuff, all my Kiss collectibles got swiped off the bus. So I had to go and rebuy everything over. And I wrote to Eric Singer. I said, look, the albums that you autographed got stolen. Will you, if I send you these replacements, will you please sign them again? And he's like, sure, no problem. So I props to Eric Singer for that. I've always liked Eric Singer. I met him around that time, maybe 6 months to a year after the time that I was moving to New York for a bit and wanting to start over because I was frustrated. I was in a relationship, a long distance one, with my ex girlfriend at the time. It's not the girl I ended up marrying, but this was one of the replacement albums that I bought. But the side two of the cassette sounded so horrible. It sounded like they were singing underwater. Plus, it made it like, I'll explain it. I'll just show you. Alive 3. On the cassette, it's like Alive 3.5. Because I used to hang out with the Kiss Army online, and they always called the cassette version Alive 3.5 because there's like a 20 to 25 minute pause at the end of the Star Spangled Banner. And I really didn't. Oh God, what's the words I'm looking for? When I bought that replacement copy and sent them to him, I was hoping that Alive 3.5 wouldn't be Alive 3.5, and the cassette wouldn't sound like it was underwater, that they were singing underwater. And unfortunately, it still sounded the same. I guess there was something with the mix or those cassettes that really sounded horrible. But Alive 3. And now I don't have to worry about this being Alive 3.5. Or do I? I don't know. But it's got the hits Creatures of the Night, Deuce, I Just Wanna, which is off of Revenge, Unholy, Heaven's on Fire. Ugh. Long story on that one. It's got Domino, which is a good track. I Was Made for Loving You, which is a disco song. I Still Love You, which is off of Creatures. Rock and Roll All Night, of course. Lick It Up, Forever. I Love It Loud. Detroit Rock City. God Gave Rock and Roll to You Too, and The Star Spangled Banner. And I always liked Alive 3. It's a great raw live album, but like I said, live albums are a hit and miss with me. I mean, there's some that sound like garbage, and there's some that sound so good that they shouldn't even be live albums. I mean, I've heard many live albums before. It's like compilation albums. They're a hit and miss with me. I mean, you have compilations of the Beatles and stuff like that. But Alive 3. And I'm going to be listening to this and torturing the hell out of my wife. And there was other gifts that my nephew and my sister got me. She got me a Millennium Falcon t-shirt, and my nephew got me this venomized looking thing, a Thanos. Kind of looks like a Funko Pop, but it's real cool. But anyway, it was so good that he thought of me and bought that for me for Christmas. But anyway, I just want to come on here and show you all what I got. And I don't have to really press the button for the videos anymore on my phone. I got this little contraption, this little Bluetooth contraption, so I can just press a button and stop and start whenever I need to. And if I mess up a video, that's that. So this is Revolution Ricky signing off. I'm gonna get out of here and spend some time go spend some time with my family and my wife. Keep spinning that vinyl and the CDs. And everyone have a very Merry Christmas. I will see you all in the next video. Peace.